Let's discuss common errors and mistakes that students often do while practicing for their Level 5 RCM exam. Okay, let's start with this question here. Write a major triad above the given note in the first bar, then write its inversions. I've seen students do this. I kid you not. Okay. So what they've done here, this is an F major triad, okay? F is the root. Now what they've done here is they've rewritten the third as the bottom note because they think that in order to have an F major triad in first inversion, the third has to be on the bottom and the third is A, so they've written the third on the bottom, but then instead of having the F leapfrog up and including the other notes of the F major triad, they've written an A minor triad in root position. So they knew that this was supposed to be a triad with A on the bottom, but they didn't bring the other notes from F major over. They just wrote A on the bottom, then they built a snowman on A. And over here they knew that an F major triad in second inversion needs a C on the bottom. That's right, but they wrote a C, and then instead of writing the F and the A, they just built more thirds on the C and included E and G, which is actually, this is a C major triad. So they got three different triads. What was supposed to happen is they were supposed to write A on the bottom and then bring this C over and lift that F up. See, both of these triads have A on the bottom, but this is an A minor triad in root position, and this is an F major triad in first inversion. They're not the same thing. Okay? So, remember, you should just be able to visually see by now, this is a root position triad, and this is root position triad, and this is root position triad, and it can't possibly be in first inversion, and this can't possibly be a second inversion triad because it's all stacked in thirds. Okay, so remember, you're stuck with the notes that you started with in root position, and you don't get to write new notes, okay? So you bring those notes over, figure out what's supposed to be on the bottom based on the inversion, and then bring the notes over. Okay. The other thing that students often do is something like this down here. Let's jump down to question number 3. See, so this is, I'm going to rearrange this in root position. Right now we are looking at a B minor triad, and it's in second inversion because F sharp is on the bottom. So if I was to rearrange this triad into root position, we would see B as the root. Now remember, I said several times in the previous videos, we can't confuse the base of the triad with the root of the triad, okay? So the root of the triad is the fundamental note in which the triad is constructed on top of. The base is just the lowest note. So anything could be the base. Here's a B minor triad. If B is the lowest note in root position, then B is the base. If we have a B minor triad and D is the lowest note because it's in first inversion, then D is the base. And if we have F sharp as the lowest note in this B minor triad, F sharp is the base in second inversion. But B is always the root because B is the root in root position. It's the note that occurs on the bottom when we stacked in thirds, and you always call B the root. So sometimes I'll see kids do this. Root, oh look, it's the lowest note. The root of this chord is F sharp, hooray. No, it's not. B is the root, and I know that because I rearranged it in thirds, and I double checked. I rearranged it back in root position, and I double checked. B was on the bottom, B is the root. F sharp is the fifth of the chord because it's the fifth when the chord is in root position. So F sharp is the base of this triad, but it is not the root. B is the root. F sharp is the base. rearrange it back into root position if you need to figure out what the root actually is. And likewise, something like this, a kid might say, oh, the D is the root, because D is the lowest note. No, in this triad, D is not the root, D is the bass. This is not in root position. We know because it's not stacked in thirds. This is a third, but this is a fourth. So we always have to rearrange things back into root position. B flat, D, F. B flat is the root. B flat is the root. Root, this should be B flat. D is just the bass. And that's pretty much the most common things I see. Those are the most common errors. Make sure you are inverting triads properly and not just using the correct bass note. And again, for the 300th time, don't get the bass and the root confused.